Costello. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Women's Advancement for Mayor Walsh. I'm here with my colleague, Christina Desir, who is the Program Manager for AAUW Work Smart in Boston. This is the woman who's responsible for training 85,000 of you Bostonian women. So let's give a hand for Christina. She's going to open us up and welcome us.
Thank you, Megan. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out this evening to our second AAUW Work Smart in Boston networking event. We're so thrilled to have you all here this evening. Before we get started with our program, I just wanted to give you a quick background of the partnership. So September 2015, Mayor Walsh actually launched one of these workshops at the YWCA with about 30 women, and now we've trained over 4,000 women who participated in this program. Our goal by the end of this year is to train about 85,000 women, and by December 2020 is to train about our goal by the end of this year is to train about 8,500 women, and by 2020 train about 85,000 women in total. So we're really thrilled that you're here this evening because you are part of the initiative and you are the word of mouth that's going to get the women from Boston to come out to these workshops. So before we get started with our program, I want to thank our sponsors. First of all, Year Up for providing the space. I also want to thank Morgan Stanley for providing the food. It's amazing, right? Yeah. Awesome. And I also want to thank AAUW membership for sponsoring the event as well. In addition, I want to get a feel who's in this room. How many folks took the workshop in 2015? Awesome. How many women took the workshop in 2016? Amazing. Any women from this year's workshop? Great, great. Give a round of applause for yourself. So to start our speaking program, I want to introduce you to two women that I've grown to really love and appreciate so much. They're one of our workshop facilitators, and they're going to give a testimony about their workshop experience since last year. So the first person I'm going to introduce you to is Rachel Roberts, who is one of our trained facilitators and took the workshop in 2015.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel Roberts, and I am so proud to be here tonight and share with you that to date, I have facilitated 18 workshops and trained over 500 women across the city of Boston. As was mentioned, I first took this workshop in the fall of 2015. I had heard an article on WBUR, I think, about the initiative that our mayor has put together, and was really intrigued. About a week later, I also read a news article in BBC News that said at the rate of pace of change right now, wage and gender equality would not be achieved for 118 years. And I thought, well, I'm gonna be dead in 118 years. I wanna see if I can do something about it. So I signed up to take one of these workshops. The information was so valuable that I called Christina and said, how can I get involved? She said, sign up for workshops. We need workshop facilitators. I have been across 18 different parts of the city of Boston. It's been phenomenal to meet all of the women, to hear their stories, and to hear how they are inspiring me while I am trying to empower them to work for gender and wage equality. I want to take a moment and thank Mayor Walsh and also thank AAUW for all the work and support that they are doing for women across the city of Boston. It's an honor to be a facilitator, and please spread the word. I would love to lead more of these workshops with your friends, colleagues, daughters, sisters, anyone who wants to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Next, we're going to hear from Sabrina Antoine, followed by Claudia Richards from AAUW.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Sabrina Antoine, and I am grateful for the work that AAUW and Mayor Walsh has done with AAUW Work Smart. So just like Christine had mentioned, I took this workshop 2 years ago, and at the time, I was exploring next steps in my career. But I was hesitant, right? I was like, I don't know, do I have the skill set that I need to kind of make the next move? I was questioning a lot of things. And so I went to the library just to look for books to how do I be more empowered. And I actually saw a flyer for AAUW, and the workshop was going to be held in Mattapan. And so I signed up immediately, and I attended the workshop. And it was exactly what I needed to start to feel empowered. And it was beyond being around books that allowed me to feel that way. It was really the workshop and the people that was around me that really empowered me to take that next move. And so I did that, right? I came back to work. I felt inspired. I felt like it was time for me to go ahead and apply for that new opportunity. And I did that unapologetically, and I got the role, and I negotiated, which is very scary, by the way. But when you do it, you certainly do feel empowered. And I wanted to make sure that other folks know that this is possible. And so, very similar to Rachel, I reached out to Christina, and I was like, well, we need to spread this to more folks. And so I had the opportunity to become a facilitator, and later began working closely with my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated in Boston, and started to host other workshops for the community in Roxbury and beyond. So thank you, Mayor Walsh, thank you, AAUW, for the work that you all have done, and for allowing me to be a facilitator to continue to spread the word. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, everyone. My name is Claudia Richards. I'm Senior Branch Relations Manager at AAUW in Washington. I am so inspired to see you all this evening and to be here. I want to thank you all for going through our training. For those who are facilitators, thank you. I too am a facilitator. I have not done as many as Rachel has. Jesse helped me with that. But I am so excited. I have a 25+ year commitment to AAUW and its mission, and I want to keep you all involved, and I invite you to join. For those of you who have already joined, talk to me a little later. I have some ideas to get deeper involved. For those of you who have not joined, come see me at the table back here by registration, and let's talk about it. There's never a no in being a part of AAUW. I don't let anybody get away. So, AAUW is also trying to launch a Younger Women's Task Force here in Boston. I chatted with some ladies earlier from BU, and we are looking for some board members, so if you're interested, call me. Younger Women's Task Force is an incredible opportunity. It's women for their 20s, 30s, early 40s who are looking to increase their leadership skills, advocate for women, implement some of our national programs like Stand Up to Sexism, or share our research, which is being launched, a new piece this Thursday, Women in Student Debt. And I know that's an incredibly important topic. I want to give a special thanks to Mayor Martin J. Walsh and his office for their commitment to advancing equity for women by championing pay equity here in Boston through these workshops and the initiatives you're fostering with the business community. The leadership that you've shown to empower women is critical to closing the pay gap. So with that, please join me in welcoming Mayor Martin J. Walsh.
Thank you very much, Claudia, and thank you, Christina, as well. A great job, and to Rachel and Sabrina, that was a great testimony and great way to talk to all the people that are out here, especially those of you that have not gone to a workshop. Both of these women had gone to a workshop, and then now they're helping other women go to workshops, so think about that's how we give back. I want to thank the American Association of University Women for their great support here as well. I want to thank Megan Costello from the Office of Women Advancement, who actually was really the person on my side that really spearheaded and got the whole conversation going. And I know Abigail Lewis is on her way here as well. I think she just landed, so she's on her way. I first of all really want to just thank all of you that are here today, all the women that have gone through or taken a salary negotiation workshop. You might say, well, why are you worried about, as the mayor of Boston, why are you worried about women being paid the same as men? There's a lot of reasons. Number one is I grew up in a labor family. And my labor family was men and women got paid the same. They did the work, they were laborers, a male and a female laborer. When they worked 8 hours, they get paid 8 hours. They get paid the same exact money. If somebody was a foreman or a superintendent or a steward, the same thing happened. So that's the house I grew up in. And being mayor, understanding the importance of making sure for our economy and for the heads of our families that are majority led by women, it's important that people get their salary due. When I was talking earlier to a few people about the negotiations and how they went, and I see it in my own office. I see when when we offer a job to a guy, that guy will often come back, even though the money is set, will come back and say, thank you for the job, but I'd love to, I want to negotiate, 10,000 or whatever is higher. And oftentimes, when a woman gets the same position, that same pushback isn't there. And so I think it's vitally important that we continue to move forward towards our goal of 85,000. Our message is going to be loud and clear. We're going to make sure that women get compensated appropriately in the city of Boston. And we also want to become the best city in the United States when it comes to women and women getting pay. And it's important that we do that to continue to move forward. It's crucial to our success as an economy, but not only that, it's the right thing to do. For years, AAUW has been fighting. Sorry about that. I got it right though, right? AAUW. It's been fighting for the rights of women, and now is even as important, if not more important. The resources I was talking to, I don't know if it was Holly, somebody was talking to me about their grandmother and how when they retired, they actually, their grandmother used the tools of negotiation to get more money, which is awesome. I think that's incredible. And I think it's important for us that we continue to fight and move forward. Rachel and Sabrina's stories are like anybody else's story in this room. I've spent a lot of time, I've been in politics now for 20 years, and I remember being at the State House, and we talked about passing gender equal legislation, pay equity legislation. And I think in my time in 16 years up there, 16 and a half years up there, I think we passed some form of pay equity legislation 3 or 4 times. But as was said, as Rachel said earlier, that gap hasn't closed. That gap is in some cases gotten wider. We're looking at 118 years of work to close that gap, a pay gap. We can't wait 118 years. It's 2017. It's time for us to continue to move forward. That's why we need to make sure that you become our ambassadors to go out and explain and tell people why they need to come in and be helped on understanding why it's important to negotiate your own salary. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be shy to sit. Don't be too shy on this. It's so important for us. It was also mentioned earlier today that we're working with companies in Boston on the 100% Talent Compact. In the city of Boston, we've committed to getting companies to anonymously report their wage data and also discuss best practices as far as retention of employees and also promotion. And this is for women. And our first report that we did, which I think we'll be talking about in a little while, Megan will probably be talking about in a little while, really wasn't based down on race. It was men and women, men versus women data. And when you start to look at the race numbers, you can only imagine that Black and Latina women will be paid even less than white women, who are paid even less than men. So it's important for us as we continue to work towards getting these companies signed on. Right now we have about 200 companies that have anonymously passed this information on. I want to thank those companies for doing that, because it really is about negotiating better opportunity. I'm going to end with this. We are going to close the wage gap in the United States of America, in Boston, Massachusetts. And we have other cities in America looking at the work we're doing in Boston. And we have mayors asking me, what are you doing? How's this happening? And we just got to continue to get the word out. We're going to continue to move forward on this. 4 years ago, this time I was running for mayor of Boston. And I had a campaign manager, her name was Megan Costello. And after I got elected, we talked about what role Megan might want to play in the administration or do. She wasn't even sure if she wanted to come into the administration. And we talked about the Women's Commission. At the time, the Women's Office of Advancement was actually named the Women's Commission. It was more of a commission than an office. It technically wasn't an office, although it was an office in the office. We can't really explain it. It's a bookkeeping thing. And I talked to Megan about this, and I said, and she said, well, I don't really want that, because what does it do? And I said, it's going to do whatever you want it to do, because it truly is my time in the legislature, as I mentioned to you, spending a lot of time on voting on pay equity legislation that didn't go anywhere. During the campaign, we called a press conference, and this is a completely different issue, but on human trafficking. And when we called the press conference, we didn't have anybody show up at the press conference. And we're looking at the exploitation of women and girls. And we talked about how do we change that. And we talked about a whole bunch of other things. And Megan came in, and one of the first things she did was realign this office, actually create an office. It's not a commission, it's an office. It's in the city. It's an office that I depend upon a lot. It's an office that 85,000 people, 85,000 women are going to depend upon. Because if it wasn't for the leadership of Megan Costello and the help of so many other folks, we wouldn't be here having that conversation tonight. So I truly want to thank Megan. I want to ask Megan to come on up and say a few words.
Well, that was very nice. So we're all here tonight because we've all participated in the workshops in some kind of way. We have a goal of training 85,000 women over the next 5 years. You guys all in this room are a very important piece to that puzzle. So a couple things we want to do tonight. One, I hope everybody's had a chance to watch the slideshow and see the number of hosts that we've had, the number of facilitators that we had, but think about what role you can continue to play in this organization. If you haven't become a facilitator, are you interested in that? Do you have a network of women that would be interested in taking a workshop? Would your company be interested in signing on to the compact or becoming a host of an organization? So think about what role you can continue to do to make sure that other women in the city of Boston have a chance to take this workshop. The second thing I want everybody in this room to do is to think about what their goal is for 2017. I remember when we did our first networking event last year, we had a woman who said, I'm going to get, I think it was like a $25,000 raise, or I'm going to get that promotion. And she actually followed back up with us and told us that she got that promotion and that raise, which is awesome. She obviously worked in the private sector. So I want folks to think about, what's your goal? Maybe you just took a workshop and you haven't yet taken any action. Maybe you took a workshop when we first started a year and a half ago. But what kind of goals are you going to have for your career, your salary, and your life in 2017? And then we have this big board over here that some folks have started writing on already. And we want to capture everybody's success stories, their plans, and what they plan on doing. So with that, we're going to turn the music back up. We're going to keep eating food, and we're going to have everybody write up their goals. Oh, and just in time, wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. So Abigail Lewis is our partner down in Washington, D.C., along with the great crew that's here. Abigail is my partner in crime down in D.C. She and I are on the phone all the time. She just landed because her flight was delayed. So I'm going to have Abigail come up and just say a quick word about how amazing she is in AAUW and all that. Abigail.
Thank you. My apologies. I'm Abigail Lewis. I'm the Vice President for Leadership Programs and Campus Initiatives at AAUW, and I really just want to thank everyone out tonight. I know that you've all taken one of the workshops before, so I feel like we are the start of a revolutionary movement to ending the gender pay gap. So thank you all for that. I also want to just very quickly introduce really the brainchild behind most of the work I do is Jesse Rauch, who is our director for the salary negotiation workshops at AAUW. Yes, it's a man. It's okay. But really, we're so excited to be here at Boston. So thank you so much. I'm not going to keep you away from everything that's been doing in that, and I really need a glass of water. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Abigail. All right, so music back up. Think about your goals. Write your goals on the board, and thank you again for coming tonight.